ever get completely swept away by a story, even a short one.
Hmm.
Today's deep dive, well, we're diving into The Farmer's Daughter. It's a Donald Firesmith tale.
Oh, yeah.
And it really proves that sometimes the most powerful narratives, the ones that really stick with you, they come in these small packages.
Yeah.
So we're going to unpack, really get into this short story's themes of love and loss and a reality that might be, well, a little more fluid than we tend to think.
What I find so fascinating about short stories, this one particularly, is how they can, almost like a pressure cooker, just intensify emotions.
Yeah.
Firesmith, he takes these big, complex themes, love, loss, grief, reality, and he just like distills them into something so potent. You finish it and you just have this lingering sense of unease.
Gets under your skin.
So,
Right from the first page, you're just thrown right into this blizzard.
yeah.
With the protagonist, a college student, just desperate to get home for Thanksgiving.
Oh, I know the feeling.
Right. Picture this. Iowa back roads, snow just coming down sideways. That feeling of being totally, utterly alone.
Ugh. The worst.
And that's where we meet our protagonist. Just like stranded.
And that sense of isolation, that vulnerability you're talking about, it's almost like a character itself.
That's a good point.
It pushes the protagonist to seek shelter.
Right.
In this barely there farmhouse.
Right.
And that decision, that one choice, it sets everything else in motion.
You said it, barely there.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder if he even would have seen the farmhouse if the storm wasn't so bad.
Right.
But he does. He sees it. And that's where he encounters Crystal.
Here we go.
Now, she's described as captivatingly beautiful, but with this quiet demeanor. There's this immediate sense of warmth between them, especially as she welcomes him in from the cold.
Yeah.
Firesmith really lingers on those details. The hot cider, the shared Thanksgiving meal, it just draws you in.
This is where Firesmith, he starts playing with our expectations, as readers.
Okay.
You're drawn to that warmth, right? That sense of unexpected connection in the middle of nowhere. But those little details you mentioned, like there's no phone, no way to contact the outside world. The parents are delayed. They start to plant these seeds of doubt.
Oh, I see.
It's like watching a fire and noticing just at the edges how quickly it can spread.
And just like that, the story shifts from cozy to unsettling. Like, we're right there with the protagonist, but we're left with this creeping feeling that something isn't quite right, even as we're rooting for him to find some kind of solace in this strange, unexpected encounter.
Yeah, totally.
It's like Firesmith. He lures us into this false sense of security right alongside the protagonist. We're experiencing that pull, that attraction towards Crystal, just as he does.
Yeah.
And this idyllic Thanksgiving they share, it's like it deepens the mystery.
And that's the heart of it, isn't it? The heart of Gothic romance.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You've got the desolate setting, the alluring mystery, this connection, this bond that seems to defy, logic and reason. But it's that isolation, the very thing that brought them together. It starts to take on this more sinister tone.
Yeah, you're right. And as they spend this really unusual Thanksgiving together, no, like, football blaring in the background, no relatives bustling around.
Huckles. Right.
It almost feels, I don't know, too perfect,
Yeah.
Like a snow globe, like you said, just shaken up to create this picture, this scene. And it's so fragile, it can't possibly last.
Exactly. And that's what makes her disappearance, Crystal's disappearance, all the more unsettling.
Oh, absolutely.
But the protagonist wakes up and it's like silence. Empty farmhouse, phone lines still dead, storm still raging outside. It's like the story itself is holding its breath.
You're left wondering, like, wait, did she even exist? Was it all in his head? And Firesmith, he doesn't give us any easy answers.
No, he doesn't.
Instead, he just, plunges us right into the protagonist's confusion, his desperation to just make sense of what happened.
And that disorientation, it pulls you in deeper. 1 minute you're wrapped up in this unexpected warmth, and then bam, you're hit with this chilling possibility that none of it was what it seemed.
It's like a punch to the gut almost.
Yeah.
And just when you think the protagonist is totally stranded, he finds a can of gasoline.
Oh.
Yeah, just like in the shed. It's like this glimmer of hope, a way out of this situation that's just become more and more unsettling.
Yeah.
And he gets his car going, and he stumbles upon a diner.
Okay.
This beacon of warmth and light in the middle of this blizzard.
I bet that felt good.
Right.
Yeah.
And this encounter at the diner, this is where Firesmith, masterfully shifts the tone. From like unsettling mystery to something much, much more ominous.
How so?
Well, it's through his interaction, the protagonist's interaction with the old man there,
Mm.
that we get, and he gets the first real crack in the facade.
Oh, this is good.
So he calls his mom from the diner, right? Just desperate for some kind of normalcy.
Sure.
And he tells her about Crystal, about the farm. And the old man, he overhears this.
Mm-hmm.
And his reaction, it's like a punch to the gut. He recognizes the farm, the description of Crystal.
You know what's interesting? Firesmith uses dialogue so sparingly in this story.
Yeah, he does.
But when he does, it's like a hammer blow. It's in that brief exchange at the diner that the tension, that underlying tension, it finally breaks.
The old man's grief, his insistence that Crystal died in a fire all those years ago, it reframes everything. Suddenly the story takes on this chilling new dimension.
It makes you question everything you've read up to that point, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
The warmth of the farmhouse, their connection, it all takes on this haunting new light. And as he drives back to the farm, the protagonist, he's clinging to this hope that there's some other explanation.
Right.
And we're right there with him. We're bracing ourselves for the truth.
And just as he's, convincing himself there must be some other explanation, some mistake.
Right.
He sees them, the two oak trees, the ones Firesmith described earlier.
Yeah.
But the farmhouse, it's not there.
Oh, no.
Instead, all he finds are ruins, these charred remnants, like a skeleton of this life lived and lost.
It's brutal. Firesmith doesn't let us off easy, does he?
No,
At a moment when you have to face the truth, even when it's hard.
Like all the hope, it just evaporates.
Yeah, and as if that wasn't enough, the old man, he's there waiting.
Oh, gosh.
Right there in this wreckage, this sadness, and he tells the story.
Crystal's story.
Yeah, his daughter, Crystal.
The one who died all those years ago on Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving night.
And it's like the story, it's not about finding a simple answer.
Yeah.
It's about how we deal with loss.
Yeah.
With these memories that they blur the lines between what we know is real and what we desperately wish could be true.
It makes you think about those little moments, the ones that stick with us.
Yeah.
The ones that feel so real even years later. You can practically reach out and touch them.
Exactly. And you're left with this question, could a chance encounter, even one as strange as this, could it actually bring comfort to a soul that's lost?
It's a powerful thought, isn't it? That some connections, they run deeper than time, than death, than anything we can really wrap our minds around.
It really makes you think, The Farmer's Daughter. It's not a story that gives you easy answers, but it sticks with you long after you finish that last page.
Absolutely. It makes you wonder about the mysteries, the ones hidden in plain sight, the ones we might stumble across when we least expect it.
And maybe, just maybe, those unexpected encounters, they happen for a reason.
I like that.